Davies. I'm chairman of the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. And it's my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to the 5th anniversary of the dedication of the Victims of Communism Memorial. If I may, I would like to ask you to rise and stand for a moment of silence to the victims of communism. Thank you. Please take your seats. Exactly 5 years ago, on this busy triangle of land, in view of the U.S. Capitol behind me, we dedicated the Victims of Communism Memorial. It is the only memorial in the world to the more than 100 million victims of communism. Accepting the memorial on behalf of the American people, President George W. Bush said, "It is fitting that we gather to remember those who perished at communism's hands and dedicate this memorial that will enshrine their suffering and sacrifice in the conscience of the world." Our keynote was delivered by the always eloquent Representative Tom Lantos, who passed away less than a year later. But we will hear later from his wife and longtime partner, Annette Lantos, who is no less eloquent when talking about the importance of remembrance and the need for vigilance in the preservation of liberty. Over the last 5 years, dozens of national leaders from around the world have visited the memorial to lay a wreath and pay their respects to the victims of communism in their country. In addition, many American ethnic communities, Chinese, Vietnamese, Cuban, and others, have come here to light a candle and say a prayer for those who died because they bravely resisted tyrants like Stalin, Mao, Castro, Pol Pot, and Kim Il-sung. The memorial has in fact become what we hoped it would, a gathering place for those who love liberty and an international symbol of man's innate desire for freedom. And for those who say that bipartisanship is dead in this city, I call their attention to our featured speakers this morning, Annette Lantos and Donald Rumsfeld. You can't get more bipartisan than that. Our foundation believes and practices that politics should stop at the water's edge. I'm pleased to report that our online Global Museum on Communism, launched in 2009, continues to attract visitors from around the world. It's the only museum on the internet that tells the story of communism from Marx to Mao and beyond. It has had nearly 125,000 unique visitors from 181 countries, including China, Vietnam, and Cuba. We are now completing our latest educational project, a curriculum on communism for high school students. It's a dynamic, interactive 10-lesson plan for teachers to help them instruct their pupils about the history, philosophy, and legacy of communism. The plan makes full use of the online Global Museum on Communism and will begin marketing the curriculum to public, private, and home schools this fall. But that's not all. From the beginning, our foundation has discussed the possibility of a bricks and mortar museum in Washington. Now, many have applauded the idea, but until recently, no one stepped forward with the necessary, tangible support. I am pleased to announce this morning that Prime Minister Viktor Orban of the Republic of Hungary has made a major commitment, enabling us to start planning seriously for an international museum on communism in Washington, D.C. We are deeply, deeply grateful to Prime Minister Orban and the government of Hungary for their generosity and their faith in us. And we are confident that our other friends and supporters here in America and around the world will now step forward and join the international campaign to build an international museum on communism on or near the Mall here in Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, our Jewish brothers and sisters understand what's at stake. They understand that history must not be forgotten lest it be repeated. They keep reminding the world of the Holocaust, crying, "Never again." Even so, we cannot, we must not, we will not forget the victims of communism or their sacrifice. And let us all pledge that never again will we allow so evil a tyranny as communism to terrorize and subjugate the world. Thank you.
Bravo!